There's one rider who will not be starting the Pitbike 140 and Moto Team race. One man that will is the man on pole. It's the Bilbao Suzuki BSB rider Brad Ray, and I spoke to him earlier. Brad, congratulations on your ride with Bilbao Suzuki. How much did that result at Cadwell Park last year, your first win at BSB, influence you getting that ride, do you think?
I mean, yeah, it definitely helped. I mean, the performance that we done last year on the Supersport bike with a privateer team was quite incredible. And I mean, we all put in a good effort, us, FAB-Racing, Mum, Dad, all the sponsors to be where we was last year. And I think that definitely helped. And it was strange because we was planning on doing Supersport again for the year after. We had all the team, we had the boarding, we had everything to go again. And 2 days before Christmas last year, Stuart and Steve rang me up from Hawk Racing. And they said, oh, look, we've got a superbike ride for you available. Would you like to come on board and ride the new Suzuki? I said, yeah, I'll have a think about it, speak to my team now and get back to you. And I sat down and thought, it's an opportunity I can't take, that sort of thing. I had to do it, and hopefully it's a good step for my career.
And how much testing have you done with the team so far?
We've done all the official BSB tests. We've done 5 days out in Spain, in Cartagena and Almeria at the start of the year. Like I say, all the official BSB tests and a few private tests at Mallory Park as well, and as much as we can get in, really.
And here you are riding for a BSB team, but you're continually back here at Coolfab, just having fun. We never ever see that in four-wheel racing. You don't see the likes of any, a Lewis Hamilton going back to karting. You'd be lucky if he turns up and walks around to say hello to the kids. But in motorcycle racing, we've seen Danny Kent come back, world champion. He's come back last year at Handau. What is it about Coolfab that makes you keep coming back?
Oh, it's nice to just come in and see like the up-and-coming kids from when we used to be here to where we are now. It's nice to come back, and I mean, it's nice to ride on the pit bikes as well. Nice to have a relaxed weekend and have a bit of fun. But no, it's nice to come back to your grassroots and remember where you started, for sure.
Absolutely. Tell us about your glasses, because that's quite an interesting story. How do they differ from what somebody would typically wear?
Well, basically, the frames themselves anyone can buy. They're only Oakley frames that you can buy online, but the lenses are made by Nikon, the people who make the camera lenses, and they put a special OptiFog coating on. So basically, when it's in your helmet, they don't actually fog up. And if they do start to fog up a tiny bit, you put a drop on each lens, wipe it in, and then that's it. They stop fogging up again. So it's a very, very clever technology. Very expensive, of course, but yeah, Eyesight down in Brighton near Roger, they helped me out, and they've helped me out since 2012 now, supplying me with glasses and support from them. So yeah, they've been a big part of my racing career, for sure, because without glasses I can't see a thing, so big thanks to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And what you're going to be riding in today? What classes?
Just a pit bike open, probably Pitbike 140 and Moto Team. Just have a little blast around as long as it stays dry.
Okay, well, good luck.
Cheers, mate.
Brad going off pole for this race. The radio commentary recorded live on the day by Alex Raby.
Pitbike 140 and Moto Team category, the final race of the day at round 7 at the 2017 FAB-Racing British Minibike Championship. The front row will be occupied by Brad Ray alongside Will Howarth. Those were the top 2 in qualifying, the top performers in their respective classes. Brad Ray top in the Pitbike 140, Will Howarth top in the Moto Team class. He's not top in the championship standings in the Moto Team category, having sat out rounds 3 and 4. It's Darren Anderson who lines up directly behind him, who is the current championship leader with a 20-point advantage over Will Howarth, but Howarth can make up some of that here if he can get the better of Darren Anderson. Alongside Anderson, third on the grid, second row of the grid is Jamie King, the current championship leader in the Pitbike 140 category. And he has a significant advantage over his nearest rival participating here today, which is Ben Pascoe, lining up down in 9th place and more than 100 points behind Jamie King. Alongside Ben Pascoe is Fraser Kinnaird, who's currently 3rd in the Moto Team class, but he's got a couple of riders between himself, or a couple of rows of the grid indeed, between himself and the 2 current leaders in the Moto Team Championship. Here we go then for race 1 in the Pitbike 140 and Moto Team class, split grid. Brad Ray alongside Will Howarth, the respective leaders in class in qualifying, starting on the front row. Jamie King, the current championship leader in the Pitbike 140, lining up on the second row with the championship leader of the Moto Team class, Darren Anderson. Ray away well. Jamie King with a fantastic start as well, but then bogs down coming around turn one and has to work hard to hold back Darren Anderson, who's made a good getaway. Side by side as they go up to the far end of the circuit, there's no challenger to Brad Ray, who's made a supreme start. Will Howarth away well, eventually in second position. It looked as though he was going to be passed by Jamie King down into turn one, but eventually Howarth got the momentum to make the pass and hold on. So it's Brad Ray up front, Will Howarth in second position, Jamie King back down in third, Darren Anderson in fourth position. Was that Ian Jackson who got away well off the line as well? As they make their way back towards us, we've got a close fight for fifth and sixth positions. But it's Howarth holding on in P2. Brad Ray's checked out. 2.5 seconds faster than anyone else on lap number one. That is astonishing. Now you understand why Brad Ray tends to start from the back of the grid. A lot more entertaining for himself to have to find his way through traffic. Will Howarth holds second. Leader in the Moto Team class has got Jamie King between himself and his nearest rival in the Moto Team category, Darren Anderson, who sits fourth on track. That's John Buckle, who's come through well into fifth position, although he's now about to be passed by Sam Klaus, who can't quite get there for the moment at least. Buckle holds on. Ray, Howarth, King, and then Darren Anderson, an increasingly isolated fourth position. Fifth is still the most closely fought after place at the moment. John Buckle having got the better of Sam Klaus. Buckle through from fifth, to fifth rather, up from seventh. Sporting some rather unique headgear as well, I've noticed this weekend, the number 20 bike. When he was playing with it down in the pit area earlier on, I thought it was a gag, but obviously not. Hey, it's cold in winter. Brad Ray leads us by 4 seconds after 2 laps. Well, you can count him out for the remainder of this race. There's no doubt about who's going to take the checkered flag barring incident. And it's Will Howarth in second position, just 0.3 of a second up on Jamie King. As through down the inside now comes Sam Klaus to make the pass on John Buckle. So recovering fifth position, we've got a faller. That was Klaus after making the move by the looks of it. Back up to his feet now. Well, all change for fifth and sixth places. It's Blake Ansell who now takes up the challenge on the tail of John Buckle after that fall that sends Sam Klaus out of the top 10. Recovery from there for the number 31. So Brad Ray with another new fastest lap of the race at 50.5. Will Howarth in second place, the leader in the Moto Team class. Still with Jamie King in close pursuit in third on track, second in class in the Pitbike 140s. Third in the PB140 category, John Buckle. Although I look at the track and it looks to me as though there's still potential position changes further down the order. Howarth is second, King is third. That's Darren Anderson coming through in fourth place. John Buckle is down to sixth then. Blake Ansell has come through. And that's confirmed on the timing now as Blake Ansell comes over the line and now looks to make a pass on Darren Anderson, and through he goes, just breezes past. Blake Ansell up to P4, so 2 passes in 2 laps. Darren Anderson is relegated down to fifth, doesn't really need to fight back. The two are in separate classes. Brad Ray, Will Howarth, 5 seconds between them. Jamie King, a second in arrears of Will Howarth, who sits second. Blake Ansell getting the better of John Buckle on that previous lap. And then a separate fight down the order for 7th place. Ben Pascoe ahead of Ian Jackson and Fraser Kinnaird. Kinnaird, 3rd place at the moment among the Moto Team runners. Ray, Howarth, King. King never more than a second behind 2nd place. Each time Will Howarth has put a spurt on, so has Jamie King. Blake Ansell through for 4th position, this time a lap ago. Sets a new personal best. He's not quite on the pace of the top 3 though, so I wonder whether Blake Ansell has now met his ceiling for this race. Still having passed John Buckle, that was for the final step on the Pitbike 140 podium. Darren Anderson is still under some pressure though. Watching John Buckle slipping back, and Blake Ansell and Darren Anderson might not be done with their battle just yet. Jamie King meets one of the lap runners at just the wrong moment, and Will Howarth really has escaped away on lap number 6. Brad Ray 8.8 seconds clear. Will Howarth second, leader in the Moto Team class. Third is with Jamie King, almost 2 seconds back now from Will Howarth. Darren Anderson did indeed recover that 4th position against Blake Ansell on lap number 6, so that's 2 laps in which they've exchanged positions twice. John Buckle dropping further back, Ian Jackson trying to find his way through at the far end of the circuit. John Buckle with the red helmet, Ian Jackson directly behind him. That's the closest fight on the circuit at the moment. Darren Anderson holding off Blake Ansell for 4th place, but remember those two are in different classes. They go either side of a lap runner, and Darren Anderson holds on to the inside line. John Buckle versus Ian Jackson for 6th though is for 4th in class, so those two are in the same category, and their race therefore really pertinent as Darren Anderson holds off Blake Ansell from the yellow flags into turn number 1, our favourite danger zone. Darren Anderson just a 1/10 of a second up now on Blake Ansell, who sits in 5th position. John Buckle setting a new personal best of 53.3 on lap 7, just to build a bit of a buffer against Ian Jackson. That really had closed up at one stage. It's still close on this lap. Actually, Jackson seems to have gained some ground on lap number 8 so far, as those two, Buckle with the red helmet, Ian Jackson directly behind him on the number 7 bike. The fight for 6th position. We've also got a squabble for 4th, Darren Anderson versus Blake Ansell. Still Anderson holding it for the moment. Ansell again alongside as they come down into Paddock Bend. He can't get there. Now an opportunity down into turn 1. Anderson's offline, and through he comes. Now, where has Brad Ray gone off? Brad Ray on the far side of the circuit has left the track altogether, so our race leader, who was away and gone and settled in for the victory, looks as though he's dropped out. May be able to rejoin the circuit, although where he is hovering at the moment, it looks as though he's going back into the paddock. Yes, that is indeed the case. So Brad Ray, who was a comfortable race leader, leaves the circuit and leaves the race. Will Howarth picks up top spot then. He'll also be top in the Moto Team category. Jamie King is your new race leader in the Pitbike 140s. So as Blake Ansell was battling away with Darren Anderson, those two are now fighting over 3rd in scratch. Ansell, having come through then for 2nd place, has managed to gap Darren Anderson on lap number 9. And John Buckle moves through up into a provisional podium place. So this fight between John Buckle and Ian Jackson that's been ongoing throughout is now over 3rd step on the podium. John Buckle in the red helmet at the far end of the circuit, making his way around the spoon. Side by side, Buckle loses out. Ian Jackson comes through. Buckle now repays the compliment down the inside, side by side, but he has to back out of it, and Jackson's got the move made through the carousel. Great job from Ian Jackson. Has John Buckle got time to respond? Less than 3 laps remaining. Well, that's twice now that John Buckle has been relegated out of a provisional podium place. It's Jamie King who leads the way. What's happened to Will Howarth as well? Where's Howarth running, or not, as the case may be? No, it looks like a mechanical failure for Will Howarth. He's pulled off onto the infield. So we've had 2 race leaders drop out of the race. And your new Moto Team leader, or race leader, is Darren Anderson. Will Howarth has made his way backwards in towards the paddock. And that is quite sensational. 2 laps remaining, and the race has been decided by off-track excursions and mechanical failures. It's going to be Jamie King, who was well back and out of contention, who's going to take it if he can hold off Blake Ansell. Ansell has closed 1.5 seconds a lap over the last couple of laps. The gap is now just 2 seconds. It's less than that. It's a lot less than that. He's gained another 1.5 seconds here, and now he goes for the race lead. Up to the far end of the circuit here for top spot. Jamie King versus Blake Ansell. Ansel the faster of the two of them. A 51.9 on that previous lap, a 53.7 for Jamie King. King has got to defend on this last lap. He's got the inside line in towards the carousel, holds on. Blake Ansel came so quickly onto the tail of Jamie King. Surely he's going to be able to find a way through. But time is ticking away. King holds on, Ansel fighting back. In towards the Devil's Elbow. King's got the racing line, Ansel's got the pace, he holds it offline. This is going to give him the inside into Paddock Bend, but he's too far back. Drag race down to the line, Jamie King, but only just a 1/10 of a second. The gap between Jamie King and Blake Ansel, that was an amazing ride from Blake Ansel as well, coming right through the fields, all the way from 13th on the grid to take second. It looked as though he'd met the limit as to what he was going to be able to achieve in that race, but he carried on, superseding it, and up through the field he came, gaining and gaining. 1.5 seconds a lap for 3 laps in succession to close on Jamie King, but then when he gets there, he can't find a way past.